What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a very good Friday, pun intended. I hope everybody's having a great day today. We made it to the end of the week, guys. We are excited. We are happy. We are almost there. Easter's around the corner. Good times are coming, people. Good times are coming. Hopefully, we're seeing a better flatten out of the curve of the COVID-19 that are keeping everybody mostly inside. Some of y'all need to learn to stay inside. But it is what it is. Guys, as always, the one, the only, Artie, the Basas Masas Casas, is always here with me. What's up, Artie?
What's the word, Mr. Sanchez?
We are here again, bro, on this Good Friday, April 10th of 2020. Cheers, brother. Cheers.
Cheers. Here we go.
There it is. As always, guys, if you guys are following along with us, remember there's a 3-drink minimum when you're with the Blown Save Podcast. By the way, quick shout out to my pops. I know you're probably hearing this one coming out soon. Hey, Dad, don't worry. We've verified everything that we're going to talk about tonight to the best of our ability.
Shout out to my boy George all the way from Texas hearing us out.
There you go. What's going on, George? Yeah, I was looking at our demographics and I saw that spike in Texas and I'm like, what the heck are we doing in Texas? But hey, thank you, George, for listening to us over there in Texas. So we got a few things to talk about today. Gil was supposed to join us tonight, but he had a sore throat and wasn't able to join us tonight, which is fine. We'll catch him on another day. We have a few topics to talk about. Some MMA, some NFL news, a lot of MLB stuff today. And obviously, we're the Blown Save. We're going to talk mostly about MLB, but we do spread it out. NBA, the NBA Hall of Fame class got announced. The XFL, Wimbledon, and maybe the question of the day. And I'm going to throw the question of the day out right now. That way, if you're playing at home, you guys can think about what you would say and who your picks are. The question of the day is a best athlete that isn't in a respective Hall of Fame, not including the MLB players with PED issues. So like Bonds and Clemens and them, we know they're probably going to get in the Hall of Fame at some point. But they are marred. It is debatable. They are marred with problems because of the PEDs and stuff like that. Two of the players that I threw out there just as kind of a baseline, kind of see where we're at. Pete Rose and Bo Jackson. So think about what you might say a little later, and we'll get back to that a little later. But first, Dana White buys an island? Is he turning MMA or the UFC into the Mortal Kombat?
I like that.
Said to start hosting UFC bouts there for the international and domestic fights, quote unquote. UFC is still on hiatus until proper health concerns are met. All the events have now been postponed, however. White is hoping that the island will be a haven for fighters that have a hard time being able to come to the U.S. for fights. So basically, Dana White was trying to get the April 18th, April 19th, UFC 249, I believe it was, to keep going. So he went and bought this island. Well, from my understanding, first he rented it out for the next few months, but he was in the process of buying the island. He was trying to do that so that he could control, and he wasn't telling anybody where this island was. Like, they showed a picture of an island, but that's not the actual island on the news report. It's this island in the middle of the Atlantic, somewhere out there. He was going to shuttle people there, either via plane, helicopter, or boat. There would be training facilities for fighters to go train there before the actual fight. And then, like in true Mortal Kombat style, they would go out there, fight amongst each other, and then there would be no crowds, no nothing. Nobody would know where it was. And then he would have the tournament. That tournament. I keep thinking fucking Mortal Kombat. But he would have the UFC fights at that point in time. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, to have that kind of money and pool that you're like, you know what? I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not making any money right now. Let me buy an island and we'll fucking do the fights there.
Yeah, and go from there, right? Yeah. Why not? I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? You gotta try to figure something out. You can't just... Things aren't gonna go back to normal, right away. And who knows, when they go back to normal. Everything's just a guess.
It really is. We don't know when everything's gonna go back to normal. We don't know if everything's actually ever going to be back to normal. I think after all this, there will be some semblance of normality that comes back.
Right.
But I think overall, we're still going to, this is going to be, this. We're going to carry this for a while.
It's going to be a little scar, right? Don't you think, of what people could really be like or what they're up to? I mean, damn, like, get your toilet paper while you can, right?
Yeah, really, man. Like, look at what happened, how everybody freaked out and everybody, you know, just went nuts with this stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, guys, this is definitely going to be a black eye in certain aspects about how the community responded, how people reacted, and how we move forward as a society, as a people, as a community, whatever you want to call it. But definitely, I think the way we move forward is getting past this first, you know, step. Stay inside and stop going out.
Right, I agree. You've been staying inside. I teach from home and work with the kids.
I mean, I'm an essential employee at a big box hardware store. So, but little by little, they've been upping the amount of safety precautions. I think we should have been where we're at now a month ago, but we've gotten to where we've gotten, and that's fine. The only thing I really don't like, but I have, it is what it is. Whenever I wear my face mask, it fogs up my glasses, so I basically walk around blind all day because I don't put my glasses on because I don't look like an idiot.
I'm investing in contacts.
Yeah, you know what, man? It takes me forever to put the contacts in my eyes, and it's just it's one of those. I always had to buy the extended fit ones, or the ones you wear for like a week or two.
For a long time.
Yeah, because I was like, I hate once I get them in there, man, you gotta leave them there.
Right.
So
all right. So MMA, how much do you think those tickets would cost if you wanted to attend, or are they going to?
Well, no, they're not gonna let anybody attend. So he said that this would be basically, the fighters would go. They'd be in an arena. They'd go and fight. It'd be completely televised. Nobody would know where it is. Like, so nobody that's not a part of the fight, would be able to go there. Only the fighters, only their fighters and trainers, whatever. I guess eventually they probably, you build it up and out, and it would become kind of like one of those fight destination kind of things. Right. Which I think they leave
like swords on the island and let them figure out if they can find it and stuff like that too.
I mean, that'd be pretty dope. But I think eventually, they would allow people to go and watch, but I'm sure it'd be a pretty. It's like going to the Staples Center right now to go watch a fight. You're going to pay a pretty penny if you want to get a good seat. Not only that, but then you're going to have to find your transportation to the island. It is an island, so you can't just drive there. You got to have to fly or swim or do something.
Yeah, pigeon carriers, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Strap some rope around some turtles and ride them in like fucking Jack Sparrow and shit.
Yep. That'd be pretty cool. Isn't that with WWE or whatever it's called now? Didn't they just televise one without anybody in it?
They did. So they had WrestleMania. It was too big to be contained on one day. It was a whole weekend. It was a Saturday and then a Sunday. Gronkowski actually won like the interim champion U.S. championship. I forget what it was. I didn't really pay attention to it, but he won some sort of belt. So he's now going to be in the WWE, which for him, I mean.
Did you see any of it? Did they have like sound effects and stuff?
They had everything but a crowd. They had the music, they had the effects, they had everything. Was
it televised live?
It was televised live. On Saturday and Sunday. It was on pay-per-view only, so you just turn on the TV and watch it that way. I don't know how much money they made, but it was the only sporting event ever during that weekend. So I'm sure they had everybody and their mother who wasn't working watching it. So I was working that weekend, so I don't know what happened. All I know is I saw that Gronk was holding a belt and he had jumped in. Originally he was an announcer or whatever, and he jumped in and he pinned somebody and he got a belt or something. I
wonder if you could like green screen the fans in and stuff like that,
I mean, I'm sure you could, but I think everybody kind of understands that the fans aren't there. You're going to get that. There was plenty, from my understanding, there was plenty of ambiance with everything going on with it. I'd have to go back and watch some of it just to see how everything went down, but apparently it went really well. So, I mean, it was the first time, it was the first step in sports. Somebody actually held an event without any fans there, and it did pretty well. I mean, that's something we're going to get into with the Major League Baseball and their shortened season here in a bit. But it's one of those things where it's like, it can be done. It can succeed. It can happen. We can do this, man. Like, we can sit there and watch a sport or watch something without having to have, people there. It's always better when you're there. Just like watching a show or watching a game, it's always better when you go to the stadium or to the theater or whatever to watch a movie or a show, whatever it is. But that's not to say that it isn't still fun to watch it on your TV at home in your freaking calzones watching a damn game or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I would pay a little bit extra to be able to sit home and watch all these things. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, obviously for like baseball and stuff like that, that's not pay-per-view. Being able to watch your teams and stuff like that, that'd be dope. But something for like that pay-per-view, like, man, I get it, man. Like, it is what it is. It is the times. But if you still want to watch that, I mean, you pay a little bit of money and watch your show on your TV, man. Why not? So, yeah, without beating a dead horse, the biggest thing out of MMA right now is that Dana White bought an island, and he wants to have his gladiators fight there.
Right.
Are you not entertained?
MLB wants to take over a state, They want to...
Well, they want to take over 2 states.
Yeah. They're talking about, having basically games in Florida and Arizona, right?
They are. We'll get there. We keep poking at it, but we'll get to the MLB and what we see that they're doing. But first, the NFL. A trade came out. Brandon Cooks to the Texans. Is this more of the failure of how the Rams played in the last 2 seasons? The Rams get a second round pick in the 2020 draft, so this draft coming up, with Gurley and Cooks out of LA. How long do you think it will take the Rams to bounce back and become a powerhouse again? Because a couple years ago, they were kicking ass and taking names. Goff is no longer a great quarterback. I don't think he was ever elite, but he just fell off hard. I think.
He was drafted to be elite, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, they put all the weapons around him, and he just didn't deliver. I don't know. It's one of the great wonders of the world, I guess.
I think that people got a lot of the film on him. They got enough film on him to see his tendencies. Maybe he's, what do they call it? Foreshadowing, or what's that thing called where they give away like what they're gonna do?
Tipping.
He's tipping his throws, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's, and people are
probably just giving him fake reads first, and then he's falling into the fake reads. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I wouldn't say sophomore slump, but maybe a junior spring break.
I don't know.
It
man. Seems like all these quarterbacks, like, they haven't stayed at. That's why they're paying Tom Brady what they do. Because there's only these quarterbacks that have 1 or 2 good seasons, and then they just kind of fall off once everybody gets a book out on them, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. I agree. I mean, the Rams still have Kupp and Woods, so they still do have weapons on the outside. Who do they have running right now? Who's their running back?
Probably Henderson's going to be their starting running back, right?
Henderson or Anderson?
Henderson, no?
Is it Henderson? Oh.
Well, they did get Henderson, though, right? But Henderson's like the rookie from last year that they're probably going to give it over to.
I don't know, man. I see a lot of rebuilding in the Rams. They're going to the new stadium. I mean, Goff's got to pull one out of his ass. I mean, like you said, they're paying him. They drafted him, to be that elite quarterback. And those first 2 seasons, he looked amazing. And it looked like they paid him the right amount of money for what he was doing. And then last 2 seasons has not looked as good as he did. I know I had
him. Really like him, or is them just saying, you know what, Gurley's hurt, and we're just gonna make him beat us because we know Gurley isn't gonna do anything anymore?
It could have been a little bit of both. I know Gurley last year, or 2 years ago, when he got hurt towards the end of the season, he was not running like Gurley ran, man. He looked scared. He looked like he didn't want to take a hit. And, I mean, more power to him. He still got in there and did what he could, and he put his head down and ran as hard as he could. But, man, he looked like he lost a step or two. And it's like, man, you're young. This is supposed to be your prime right now as a running back. And, man, he looked like he lost it. And then last year, I know not a lot of people were trying to grab him in the draft early, whereas 2 seasons ago, everybody was like, dude, you got to take early in the first 5 picks or he's not going to be there.
Right. Yeah. You're right. But I mean, he also had like 1 year where he was great, and then he didn't do very much the next year, and then he had another real good year. And then again, last year, he was just like, he was a average running back,
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be motivated again. I think he might be one of those every other year kind of running backs. And let me tell you, if I'm down in that, in that fantasy draft or on that 8 pick or 9 pick, I'll tell you what, the 9 pick, if he's there and based on who's been taking and stuff like that, I might jump on him right there.
Hey,
for sure.
You heard it here first from the 2-time champion.
Something like that.
2-time champion for the Bridgetown Fantasy Football League over here, Mr. Artie, the Masas Pasas.
I think that's Evans won it 3 times, I believe.
Evans a 3-peater.
Jeez.
I know, right? You can't stand this fool. Evan, we can't stand listening to you for the bullshit. But yeah, no, I mean, the Rams, I want them to do well. They're from LA. We're from LA. I want them to do well. I don't want them to be excellent because they beat my Cowboys a couple years ago, which pissed me off. I was at the stadium. It was great. It was a wonderful game. But man, it was heartbreaking. But anyways, I digress.
My boy, Joe, who's a diehard Cowboys fan, like he thinks the Rams are going to go 12 and whatever the math is, 12-5 if that's 17 games this year?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The Rams?
I mean the Rams. I meant the Cowboys.
Oh, I'm like, bro, we're just talking about how they may have been taking a couple steps backwards. The Cowboys, I mean, geez, man, I got to see how this draft goes. I got to see who they get up at center. I got to see where Jadeveon Clowney is going to end up. I know his name's been thrown around with the Cowboys as well. I hear
Seattle too, right?
Well, Seattle wants him back. He
right.
he became a free agent because after he got traded to Seattle, Seattle tried to extend him, and he said, "No, I'm going to test the open market." So that's where he's at right now.
Right.
So I mean, I've heard his name with the Cowboys, which would be amazing. That means we would have to spend one less pick picking up another linebacker. The
right.
Wolf Hunter, Leighton Vander Esch, he's coming off that neck injury. Is he going to be the same? Hopefully.
You don't think the Cowboys need another receiver?
I do. I know that they've been there's been talks and video of Dak with Zeke and Des Bryant again. They've been practicing in some spot. I told you
he's going to be blackballed from football.
I mean, if he gets picked up, it'd be cool. Like I told you before, I forget which podcast we had. I told you, man, we can get him cheap and let him be a slot receiver somewhere. We did lose a couple receivers. He'd be nice to slide in there. He kind of knows the offense already.
Right.
I think that he would be a good fit, a good quick fit to fit in there. I do hope they pick somebody up in the draft.
The draft,
definitely.
Do you think Brown and Des Bryant work out together?
I hope not. Because I think Brown is a.
But Brown's who's he been working out with? He's been working out with. I saw him working out with somebody the other day, and he's consistently working out with those people too.
I haven't seen it, honestly.
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on who he's been working out with, but I know it's somebody that he's trying to get in workouts with them and hoping he gets picked up by them. But I don't think he's going to get picked up by them.
Right. I think Antonio Brown is blackballed at this point. I don't think a team is going to risk the feeding frenzy of everything he's gotten himself into just to have that receiver there. I know he's elite. He's going to go down as one of the best receivers to play the game. Hall of Fame. He's got a couple rings. I'm not sure which.
That's who he's been working out with, Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, I could see them taking a risk on him.
Do you?
Because they were like one elite receiver away from being like pretty damn dangerous.
I mean, they're dangerous as it is now.
I know, but that's because he runs so much as a running back. And I know he's got Hollywood, what is it, Hollywood Brown, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's a rookie receiver, but he's unproven, and he's kind of like the deep ball threat. He's not really a possession kind of guy. And imagine they give him like an Antonio Brown who's a possession and a little bit of a deep ball threat with the deep ball threat. Oh, they could be dangerous.
It could be very dangerous, man.
I don't know, man. That I saw them and I'm like, ooh.
I think for the right price, man.
Yeah,
roll the dice.
Do you think they could put like clauses in their contracts where they'd be like, all right, look.
Oh, I'm sure.
If you do this, and you know, you sign off of Twitter, we'll give you an extra money for signing off of Twitter. We'll give you extra money for not being on Instagram.
I can almost guarantee you that they can do that because I know that when the Cowboys signed somebody, and it was service based. It was a service based contract. So if you stayed out of trouble, you get this amount of money. If you don't get depending on how many games you play, you get this amount of money. Depending on if you stay out of trouble for this many weeks, then you get this more money. If you stay out of the limelight, you get this more money. If we make the playoffs, you get this more money. If you make these different milestones, you get more money. So I'm sure they could load up a contract like, all right, Antonio, this is what we're going to do. We want to bring you in. We want to have you get over there, do some work, and be the great football player that you had. However, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a handler. You're not going to be able to be on Twitter anymore. Any of your tweets got to go through a third-party kind of person.
Like the dude saying, hey, write this for me type of thing, right?
Yeah. Anything, you know what I mean? If you score 10 touchdowns, we'll give you a bonus. You get to 20, we'll give you another bonus, et cetera, et cetera.
We'll let you tweet like 10 times by yourself with no supervision, right?
Right. If you, I mean, and it could be just like with Belichick, man. He had that one great game with Brady, and then
great. It was good.
I mean, he was coming off of not really playing. He came in. He had a good. He had like 2 touchdowns. And like 120 yards.
No, he didn't have 100 yards.
Yes.
He might have had 2 touchdowns, but I don't think he had 100 yards. I'll look it up while you're talking. All right. But I thought of another name that I thought, let me tell you, the Cowboys should pick him up. And I think he's the Cowboys kind of guy. Josh Gordon. Now that they took off that marijuana clause in the NFL, if someone picks him up, that's what that dude's problem always is getting high and getting caught.
he wants that ganja, awesome. Bro.
Dude, but he is.
But he is.
Receiver.
He really is.
And other than smoking weed, he doesn't really cause any trouble, does he?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything else other than the weed, man.
Right.
So, we'll see. I know I definitely want the Cowboys to look into an offensive lineman. We just picked up a defensive lineman, which, okay, that's fine. At tight end, we're pretty good. We got All We Do Is Jarwin over there, and I love that shit. And his buddy, his name's...
he had an alright game. He played one game, had 4 receptions, 56 yards, and a TD.
Okay. But they were talking about how he was going to...
TDs would have been great, or a TD and 100 yards. That's why I was like, I don't remember it being 2 TDs. I know one for sure, and I remember him being under 100 yards.
But he started tweeting after that, and Belichick was like, screw this shit, bye. Like, we told you not to, and you did it, goodbye. I don't care who you are, what you think you do, and who you think you're supposed to be. It's a team sport. If you don't play like a team, you don't have a team.
All right, let me ask you. I got a couple questions. Okay,
go for it.
All right, and keep it simple. Don't overanalyze it. Just instincts. Over under 10 wins for the Cowboys.
Over.
Optimistically thinking, or
I think 10 or 11. I think that's I think that's where it's going to be 10 or 11.
So you have to go over then, right?
All right, 11. Over, under, no then I'm going 11.
All right, I like it. Home cooking right there. I'll take the. I like 10. Like you said, I really like 10. You
got to remember, so there's an extra game, so an extra game matters. I think. You know, they're
going to take the over also. I think they're going to get it like 11. I think they're going to go like 11-6. They were, they just have the talent. They just didn't piece it all together last year.
Last year there was a lot of friction because of the contracts, because Zeke not starting. Right. There was just a lot of things going. It got in everybody's heads. It is what it is.
Yeah. And then there's a new coach, a new sheriff in town, and I think some of that's like, all right, look, get your shit together, or else this is what's gonna happen. Because
exactly,
we got rid of our boy, a hometown boy who we're gonna love and is part of the family and stuff like that. And he can go, you can go, right?
Exactly.
Type of deal.
I think this is I think this is the year, and that's exactly what they're gonna say. Look, the Clapper was here. He was our boy. He's the homegrown freaking prodigy there, the greatest offensive mind, quote unquote, to come out of coaching. And you're with the Giants now. Have fun. If we're willing to get rid of him, and they love him.
Greatest thing since sliced bread.
No. That's Tony Romo, baby. No, that's Tony Romo's announcing career. He's an amazing announcer.
Let me tell you, he is damn good. Nobody can deny.
He got his money too. He's getting all kinds of money.
All right. So here's my other question for you then. All right, who gets more wins, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
I'm gonna go with Brady. I think Brady, because of all the weapons he has down in Tampa Bay, I think they have more wins. Is it a ton more wins? Is it one or two more wins? I think they have one or two more wins, but I don't think they run away with it. Okay. But I think that with his skill set and what he's gonna have there with him. I think that they win a couple more games than the Patriots this year, because the Patriots are definitely going to feel that void of Brady not being there.
Right, a game manager, right? He's just to me, he was a glue. He was a glue to the Patriots. Yeah, and he wasn't lighting up the scoreboard anymore, but he controlled the game. He understood, hey, our defense is elite. We just got to put a 20 spot on the board, and we're going to win. If we could get to 20 points.
Run the clock out.
Run the clock. We don't have to get to 20 points right away in the first half. We just got to get to 20 points by the end of the game.
And
that's the way I saw it.
Yeah, and that with 2 minutes left, you guys are down by 3. Tom Brady can get you over there and get that touchdown or get what you need. So
yeah. All right. So, in my last football question for you. Okay. Who goes further in the playoffs between them two, Brady or Belichick?
Damn. I think the Patriots make the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. But I think Tampa Bay goes further.
All right. You're a little more savvy than I am. Are they in the same conference?
Yes. No, the Patriots are AFC, and the damn Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the NFC.
Okay, so the only way they'd see each other would be in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Okay. And why hasn't Jameis Winston signed with anybody? What's going on there?
I think
that's a dude I'd want. Laser eye surgery and everything.
Man, I think he has to prove it first, man. I know everybody knows he can fucking throw it 100 miles down the road, man, without even blinking. I know everybody knows that he's got the strength to put it through somebody's chest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that everybody understands these two things. The thing that people also understand is that he throws as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. And if you're always going to have to worry about him throwing 2 touchdowns to your team and 2 touchdowns to the other team, it's not a good way to play a football game. So I think he goes somewhere. I think we have to wait to see who's going to go to the Chargers. I think we have to wait and see what's going to happen in the draft, who's coming up and where they're going. But I think Winston signs either right after the draft, or he signs like right before minicamp.
I think he signs after the draft. Yeah, right. It's going to be one or the other. He's not going to be. Who do you think he signs with?
If the Chargers don't get anybody in the draft that they feel that can run that offense, I think they go call Jameis Winston, and whoever they do pick up, they have him as the backup, a rookie backup, and kind of build him up, kind of like with Eli Manning and what's that guy's name that he took over his job?
Oh God.
Yeah, that guy. Nobody cares because he sucks.
He's all right. He's a running quarterback.
Yeah.
kind of throws it.
So I think it's the same thing. Unless Winston lights it up and just kills it, I think within a year or so, that rookie quarterback takes over the job, and I think Winston's there for backup at that point. I think Winston becomes the next Fitzmagic.
Daniel Jones,
right. Yes. But I think he becomes the next Fitzmagic, where he's kind of bouncing around and somebody gets hurt and they throw him in there and he does really good for like 5-6 games.
Right.
And then games matter and he falls apart.
Right. And isn't that what Fitzmagic did to him, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same shit. Just backwards.
He's had somewhere to learn from, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, let's shift gears. Enough football.
Okay. So now, I guess, we come to the part of the show where we talk about
dun, dun, dun.
Major League Baseball. Actually, no, wait. We're not going to talk about Major League Baseball. We're going to knock out the NBA real quick, and then we'll get into MLB.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the NBA, the biggest thing that happened this last week is the Hall of Fame announcements were made. No surprise, Kobe. No surprise, Tim Duncan. No surprise, Kevin Garnett. The big three that led the voting and who was selected. Tamika Catchings, the 10-time WNBA All-Star, was also inducted to the Hall of Fame. There's a couple guys that were close. Chauncey Billups, Horace Grant, Jeff Hornacek, Chris Bosh, AC Green. They're all on the cusp. They're in the top 20, but not in the top 10.
Okay.
Do you know anybody else who you're thinking, man, they should be up there? They should be at least be in contention.
Let me start with this, okay?
Okay.
Personally, I think in terms of Hall of Fames, it goes baseball, football, and then NBA. In terms of like man, like baseball is really strict, and the dudes that get in are like, man, those dudes, hell yeah, they were pretty damn good. You know, like they were awesome, right? And I feel like the NBA and NFL are kind of like, wow, there just isn't anybody better, so we got to put somebody in this year, type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Although again, NBA is the worst to me. I don't even know what's going on with the NHL, so I don't keep track of them that much in terms of that level.
Right.
But I know for sure, like the NFL and NBA, where I'm just like, dude, there dudes that get in, they're like, oh yeah, he played in the 1920s and stuff like that for the NFL, and he was really good back then. I'm like, and he just got in, you know, like,
yeah,
what made him eligible all of a sudden now? You know what I'm saying? Like
32 years later. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, like I'm just like, what's going on here? Now, don't get me wrong. There's some names that come in. You're like, oh, damn. Hell yeah, that dude needs to be a first ballot or whatever it is. And it just seems like first ballot are really like popular in terms of baseball, but they don't seem to be like as big of a deal in the other Hall of Fames. What do you think about that? Like, before we get into like talking about the rest of the Hall of Fames, what are your thoughts?
I mean, to be in the Hall of Fame at any professional sport, I mean, you have to be elite. You have to be elite of the elite, because there's so many. I mean, basically the entire league that you're in, for the most part, let's call it 95% of the league is in there because they're elite. They're not there because they're scrubs. They're there because they can play the game regardless of what it is. I'm sure many people will argue with us and say the NBA Hall of Fame is just as amazing or as important as the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, which I think, like you said, I think MLB, that Hall of Fame is a lot tougher to get into. Being a Major League Hall of Famer, or Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, carries a little more weight to it, I think, because you can drop off. I'm not sure what the players for the NBA, I don't know how long, like you said, there are players on there like they're barely getting in. Like, I know one of the names on there, Otis Thorpe, played from 85 to 01. You know what I mean? He's basically 13th on the list right now, but it's like, who? He's just barely getting like recognized.
And you talk about elite. What defines elite, though? I just kind of like the NFL feels like a popularity vote sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, because let's just take the three that were inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame right now: Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Kobe Bryant.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean the NBA. Well, I guess the NBA sure is definitely a popularity vote. But
So
I meant to say the
let me
NFL.
let me ask you this without looking at the 2020 Hall of Fame candidates and how they're ranked. If I told you Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, those are the three names. Rank them 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I'm a Laker fan, so Kobe, of course, and then Tim Duncan, obviously. That's a 1A, 1B to me for sure. And then Kevin Garnett, clearly a distant 3.
Okay, so according to the stats that they put up, Tim Duncan is the number 1 overall person selected. Number 2 is Kevin Garnett, and number 3 is Kobe Bryant.
That's just dumb. That's just stupid.
Kevin Garnett played in 1,462 games. Kobe Bryant played in 1,346 games. Kobe Bryant averaged 25 points a game, where the other two was 19 and 17.8.
Wow, was he really
that yeah.
But it's not all about points scored.
Tim Duncan field goal percentage at 506. Kevin Garnett 497. Kobe 447. 3-point.
But they all played by the bigger guys. Play close to the rim, so they're higher percentage shots.
Yeah. According to the 2020 Hall of Fame candidates, the top 3, Duncan, Garnett, and Kobe Bryant, are in that order.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. I don't know. I just think their popularity votes at those two particular levels. I think the MLB just seems like more information comes out for that all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think because
you probably really dug into it. I bet you this wasn't like on ESPN, because I know this is the first I heard of it, that there are rankings and stuff like that.
I think this is going to have to be a subject. I'm going to bring Don B, a guy I work with. He is, according to him, he has a PhD in basketball everything. So we'll have to dig deep. We'll have to dig our heels in with him about this one at another time. But I think if you threw those 3 names at me, Duncan, Garnett, and Bryant, I would have been Kobe and Tim Duncan 1, 2 right there. Like you said.
Well, you think like Yao Ming's a Hall of Famer? Really?
I mean, I don't even see Yao Ming on this list.
He's in the
he's already
Fame,
in?
he went
no. Well, you know what? I think Yao Ming, because
a popularity vote. That's
I would have to go with that one too then. On that one, I would have to go with that one because
did the fans get a vote or something?
All the fans in China got a vote, and that's why Yao Ming is in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, he wasn't a bad player, don't get me wrong. But a Hall of Famer? Bro, did he even play 10 seasons?
Look at Tim Hardaway. They have Tim Hardaway ranked 40th in the come on. Tim Hardaway was awesome. But still, it's just, I don't know, man. There's so many people that they have ranked out here for.
That's what I'm telling you. That it's just like, dude, he's, you know what I'm saying? It's a popularity vote sometimes. Like, it's just dumb, you know? Like, I'm looking right now. Oh my god!
They got Derek Fisher at 119. You were saying,
bro? Like, I can't believe Yao Ming could be a Hall of Famer based on what, 5 good seasons? I mean, I would say 3 like elite seasons, and I don't know if you consider like 2 double-digit rebound seasons and 20+ points a game elite. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had his best seasons, right?
Right.
He averaged 22.3 points, 25 even, and 22 even, right?
Right.
And then his rebounds were 10.2, 9.4, and 10.8 those years. Dude, those are 3 seasons, man. He didn't even average 10 rebounds a game for like his career, or more than twice. Like, I don't understand what makes him a Hall of Famer. And you know how like you look at the stats and you could see like if he led the league in anything. This dude didn't lead the league in one single damn category.
Wow, that's eye opening.
And did he even make it like past like the first round? I don't even know how far in the playoffs did he ever make it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like what I remember him most for is like some of the more popular dunks, you know, that people got on him, like Kobe and Vince Carter when they dunked on him. You know?
He's the poster child in the NBA Hall of Fame.
I don't know, man. So when I see the Hall of Fame and I see the NBA, and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to say it's a joke, but I just think like, dude, you let Yao Ming in. Once you let Yao Ming in, I was just like, it just opens
I think
the door.
you do that. I think you do that, and this is from the outside looking in. Somebody that doesn't watch basketball religiously. I think you let Yao Ming in to appease the overseas fans, to make them want to watch basketball a little more, because you put, a Chinese-born athlete in there. He's like a god over there in China.
Right. Don't get me wrong.
So
yeah,
I think
but
that
so was Stephon Marbury,
Yeah.
So and he's not in, and he probably had better years than Yao Ming. I'm gonna look him up right now. Like, that dude had some badass years. And he's not in the Hall of Fame, and that dude was like ridiculous when he was over there in China and over here. Like dude, look, oh my God, look how many years he played. These are big numbers here. 1, 2, 3. I wish they just added them up for me. 5, 8. Dude, he played a lot of years.
5, 8, a lot.
Yeah, he played a lot of years, and he had better numbers than Yao Ming, like scoring. Dude, except for total rebounds, poor guy. He's short as hell. But look, his assist totals are like damn near where Yao Ming's were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a dude that if you're letting Yao Ming in, that's a dude that needs to be in there too. He is pretty damn dude. He averaged 20 points a game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And then the other times he was at 17, 19.8, 16.3, 16.4.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Hey, obviously you and I aren't the diehard NBA sports nuts. Like I said, we might have to dive back into this at some point. But
right.
You're giving me numbers and names, and I'm like, what's happening? Why?
Oh, okay. So I get it. So I know the numbers and stuff like that, and
I know the names, and if you're giving me these stats and you're telling me, man, this is, and they let him in, know what I mean? But it's like, okay, what's the criteria?
Right.
What
exactly.
makes
what's the criteria? What said, hey, this dude needs to be a Hall of Fame? You know what I'm saying? Right? Like,
I'm with you.
That's why I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, and same thing with the NFL. Okay, like, again, not to the degree of the NBA, because I think again, it's like the MLB is by far the echelon, right? Like the golden standard.
I think so.
And then the NFL, because Canton, Ohio is pretty special. I've been there; it's really nice, and I highly recommend it. Right? Like, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's them, and then the NBA, and then again, like whatever it is. To me, the NBA is kind of like, in some ways, the laughing stock of the group, right? Of the three majors, right? The three majors.
Yeah.
But then NFL, sometimes I question it too, because I think, okay, don't get me wrong. I it's not that I don't think he's deserving. I just think there's another name where I'm like, you compare his numbers, and you know how when the Sports Center gives you like, if we gave you player A and you gave player B, and you had to vote for one of these without knowing who they are, but here's the numbers, here's their accolades, here's the stats. Who's getting in, right?
Right.
Dude, player A, right? I wish I need to find his numbers, right? Well, player A has like a Super Bowl ring, and I don't know, eight first team all pros, and seven second team all pros, and whatever it is. And then the player B has like 10 first team all pros and 10 second team all pros, but never won NFL Super Bowl, or actually neither one of them ever won a Super Bowl, right? And they're both linebackers,
right?
Okay, which one are you taking? Just on those simple numbers. And again, I'm not even saying that those are accurate, but they're pretty close. I wish they had the comparison. I'll try to find the comparison. Who would you take?
For everybody playing at home, go give them to me one more time. Break it down.
Okay, I'll keep it simple, right? Player A has 7 first team all pro first team selections, and player A has 5 second team all pro selections. Player B has 10 all pro selections, and player B has 5 second team all pro selections. Neither one has ever won a Super Bowl, but one of them attended a Super Bowl, right? And both are like off by one, like
A or B attended the Super Bowl.
A.
Okay.
And lost.
Okay.
He didn't win it. And then player B has more Pro Bowl selections.
How many?
By like 2.
So they got a +2 on the Pro Bowl.
Right. and they have a +2 on all pros.
All right, +3 on all pro.
Yeah, +3. Oh, you're right. +3 on all pros. Neither one has ever won a Super Bowl.
Based on what you're giving me right now, right? Based on what I see right now, I gotta go with player B.
Right. Okay. So what if I told you player A was Brian Urlacher and player B was Zach Thomas?
No! Wow! I mean, Urlacher. Right? Wow.
And again, I don't have the exact numbers right in front of me.
Right.
But they're very similar.
Very, very similar. But if you only gave me between the two, I have to... Honestly, man, statistically, player B.
Right. And it's just mind-boggling.
Wow.
Like mind-boggling, dude.
You give
so similar.
You give me those two. You give me those two names. I said Urlacher all day.
Right. So look, okay. So I found some stats. Right.
All right.
Okay. Solo tackles. Okay. Let's go back to player A, player B. Right. Not knowing who they are, but knowing who they are. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Total games played 182. Okay. Versus 184. So total solo tackles. 1,040 versus 1,100. Total assists 314 versus 627.
Ooh.
Total interceptions 22 versus 17. Total forced fumbles 11 versus 16. Total sacks is a pretty big one. Okay, 41 versus 20. Total touchdowns scored 4 versus 4. Okay, here's the kicker. Remember, I was saying the all pro and stuff like that, and I was just throwing numbers out there. I really didn't know, right?
Right.
Okay, total first team all pro selections 4 versus 5. Total Pro Bowl selections 8 versus 7.
I still, honestly, that's 627.
Right? Isn't that the one number that's just like, whoa?
Like, you did what now? 627 times? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, I can only think of one or two things currently or in the past or in the future that I will do 627 times at the elite level.
Yeah. And they both played during the same era.
Absolutely.
Okay. Player A played from 2000 to 2012. Player B played from 1996 to 2008. That means their careers, I guess, didn't overlap for 4 years?
Yeah,
just 4 years.
But still.
Like, dude.
Wow.
Dude, come on.
Thomas, you know? I got to give it to Thomas on top of that.
Like, man, that's why I'm just like, what's going on here? And I'm not even like a Dolphins fan or a Zach Thomas fan versus a Brian Urlacher fan or anything. I'm just saying, like, dude, give the player A versus player B comparisons, and you're telling me player A is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and player B has been waiting for he finished in 2008. How many years you had to wait after the NFL?
I believe it's 5.
Okay, 5. So that's 2013. So we're in 2020. So that's 7 years.
7 years.
So you tell me that dude hasn't been in 7 years?
Wow.
Over the past 7 years, there's been dudes that had better numbers than him every single year. Come on, man. Come on. And again, like, I'm not a diehard. Like, I know baseball stats way more, but bro, like, the numbers don't lie.
I was going to say that. The numbers do not lie. If you put them side by side, no names, you don't know who it is. This is player A, this is player B. Right now on paper, I'm looking at it right now. Man, I got to go with Thomas. I think because, I can't even say because he plays for the Dolphins. At the time, I think he played during part of the time when Marino was there. So the Dolphins were definitely in the mix as far as like popularity goes, or as far as notoriety goes. But man, stats alone, I can't believe Thomas is still waiting. I could see why Urlacher's there.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I can see why Urlacher's there. But if you told me these two guys are coming up, only one of them gets in right now, the next guy gets in the next time, I'd be like, oh, fuck. According to the numbers, 627, bro? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know, like,
I wish I had a hat right now so I'd be shaking it. Like, you're begging me. Come on, man. Come on.
Bro, and Urlacher, get this. Urlacher got in back in 2008. 2018. He got in back in 2018. So we already had 2019, and Thomas still didn't get in. Wow. And now, have we had the 2020? No, right? Just
no, not
started.
Yet. Yeah,
it's in the summer, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, dude, if he's not on there, that's my dude right there. Like I'm starting to become a bigger fan of Thomas just by looking at his numbers.
We here at the Blown Save have now become exuberant endorsements for Thomas to be in the Hall of Fame. Guys, listen here and listen well. Thomas needs to go to Hall of Fame already. That's ridiculous. Look at his fucking stat line, man. You just heard it right now. Look at his. It's ridiculous.
The Hall of Fame is not a team game; it's an individual thing, right?
Yeah,
he has the numbers. He has the numbers.
He has the numbers. He has the accolades. The only thing either one of them don't have is a Super Bowl, but neither one of them do, and that's you can't, as they like to say, you can't only count Super Bowls in why you become a Hall of Famer.
And I think the Hall of Fame right here, because there's a thing right here that says eligible. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so Urlacher was eligible. He was a first ballot Hall of Famer in 2018, and Thomas was eligible since 2014 for the first time.
Wow!
And again, you're telling me 6 years, bro, or 5 technically, 5 years, right?
Yeah.
We only have 5. 5 years he hasn't made it. And then Urlacher, who has very similar numbers, right?
Yeah.
Very similar. Comes in and on his first ballot gets in.
Popularity, bro. Popularity. It has something to do with it.
Man, because Zach Thomas, bro, he's not a guy like Clemens and Bonds who is connected to PEDs or being a jerk or anything like. He's so low key, like low key. And I just don't get it. That's why, like, dude, to me, like, the Hall of Fames at those other 2 levels of the top 3 are just, in some ways, a joke. Like, yeah. And then you tell me the whole Kobe thing being ranked number 3. If you told me 2, all right, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Duncan, he won more MVPs. He won the same amount of titles, but he won more finals MVPs. Like, all that stuff, right? Like, all right, I'm cool with, him being 1A and Kobe being 1B. But, dude, when you said Kevin Garnett, come on, man.
Hey, you can click the link right there, and for you guys at home, I'll have it in the description. But if you look at the rankings, 1, 2, and 3, man, it's Duncan, Garnett, Kobe.
Like, Garnett had to switch teams and say, hey, guys, come with me, or come over here to win 1 title. 1, bro. Kobe beat him in the other title in the rematch.
I agree. Like I said, I'd have put Kobe 1 or 2, obviously, because Duncan had more MVPs. Right. But like you put him at 3. He's at the ranked 3rd.
Again, like I'm saying, it's just sometimes these Hall of Fames at those 2 levels are a joke. A joke.
Right. You were saying?
Yeah, I can't believe this. Like, Amari to me is probably starter Amari. If Yao Ming is in, Amari Stoudemire needs to get in, because that dude, he came straight out of high school into the NBA, and he is on this list from dudes that have not gotten in. He has, next to Chris Bosh, has the most points per game, and again, aside from Chris Bosh, rebounds per game. And that dude was a beast when he first came in. And if his thing was, if he didn't get hurt and have that like micro fracture surgery on his foot or whatever happened, like, he would have just been like a baby Shaq, is basically what I could equate him to. Like, he was a baby Shaq. Like, he just dominated everybody,
I'm with you there 100%.
Like, we got some other dudes that are in here
I got a name for you that I bet you can't believe where he's at, being a Laker fan. Derek Fisher. He's ranked 119th.
He's not a Hall of Famer, though. I mean, he's just a really
you
good
don't
role
think
player.
You don't think as a supporting cast somewhere top 100 at least, top 75, top 50?
Doesn't matter where you're at. You're not going to get in,
Yeah.
More I surprised at like Chris Webber. I'm looking at his numbers. He's I take you back. His numbers. He's at 41, and he's at 20 points and 9.8 rebounds a game. Like, what else you want? Yeah, I get it. Is that the plateau? You have to win a title. I don't even know who this Lou Hudson is. Played back in 1967, had 20 points a game. Poor guy. He's never going to sniff the Hall of Fame. You know, like, I mean, I'm serious. Like, what are the plateaus? You know, like, set some standards or something. Like, figure it out. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like, whoa.
It's definitely something that we're gonna have to dive deeper into, and I can't wait to have Don B come on and talk shop about basketball, man. Because he says he's the self-proclaimed basketball guru. He's got a PhD in all basketball knowledge. So we'll have to pick his brain and figure out, okay, why them but not them? Why Kobe at 3 and Garnett above him? Why these things? Yes, they all got selected. Yes, they're all in the Hall of Fame. Why Yao Ming?
Right. Yeah, okay. But we got to say that till afterwards, right? Like, all right. Hey, good point. Explain to me how Yao Ming got in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm with you 100%.
Like, all right, you just sit quiet and you wait, and then you wait a little bit more.
You got to hold that one. You hold Yao Ming in your hand and you're waiting for it.
Just like, you just wait for that perfect moment, you know? Like, I don't get it, dude. I just clicked on right now where it sorts the stats and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Dude, Kobe Bryant, obviously, who got in the Hall of Fame, is number 1 on guys that are eligible for a Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Number 1 with 25 points average a game, right? Number 2 is a dude I just talked about, right? Chris Webber at 20.7. Okay, so he's he's second on guys that are not in the Hall of Fame, second overall in points per game. Now I'm gonna click the total rebounds per game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he was at 9.8. He's at number 10. So he's a top 10 in 2 very important categories for center / power forwards, which is what he played. Mm-hmm. And that dude's not in the Hall of Fame. You know, and he played 831 games. So it's not like he didn't play a lot of games. He played a lot of games.
Right.
Like, it's just, you know, Tim. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know.
And that's why we don't vote.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. Those are 2 really important just categories that just should make a big difference, you know?
No, like, absolutely.
He's top 10 in both. Number 2 in one, and right at number 10 on the other one. And that's average for his career. Like, it's crazy. If Chris Bosh gets in before Chris Webber, that's highway robbery right there.
Yeah.
Why? Because Chris Bosh won how many titles? 2 titles or whatever on the tailcoats of LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just dumb. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great player. He got paid and all that, and he won his titles. Great player, Hall of Famer. Oh, I mean, I want to see Chris Webber in before I see Chris Bosh in, you know?
Yeah.
Again,
no, I'm
player
with you.
A, player B. Right?
Let's play that game and see who ends up better.
Bro, okay, let's play that game, right? Okay, player A. I wish I could separate them, but I can't here. I can't even
Let me get my pen and paper. Let's go. Player A.
Okay. Player A. Let's just throw it out there. Okay. Total points per game. 20.7. Okay. Total rebounds per game. 9.8. Total assists per game. 4.2. Total steals. 1.4. Total blocks.
Hold on.
Right.
Points per game, 20.7. Rebounds, 9.8. What was after that?
Assists, 4.2.
Assists, 4.2.
Steals, 1.4.
Steals, 1.4.
Blocks, 1.4.
Okay.
And field goal percentage, which for the guys I'm going to compare are pretty big, 47.9. So basically 48%. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, versus, let's see here. Okay, here he is. I found him. Okay. Player B, 17.8 points a game. 10 even rebounds per game. Okay. Assists, 1. That can't be right. No, 3.7.
Mm-hmm.
Steals, 1.3. Blocks, 1.4. And field goal percentage, 49%.
Flat?
49.7. I guess you could round off to 50, but it's 49. Because the other guy didn't even check to see round him off. Let's see. Yeah, he would be round off to 48. So they're just 1 point. They're 48%. So two percentage points away.
So if you have me pick between 1 and 2, or A and B,
Right.
according to the stats that I have right now, player A should be in before player B.
Right. Player A is Chris Webber, and player B, dun dun dun, is Kevin Garnett.
Holy shit!
Two dudes that basically played the same position during, I want to say the same era. Could be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
close
checking
enough.
right now. 96 to 2016 and 94 to 2008. So
They
they had
played-
a shorter career.
Yeah, but they still played during the same time.
Right. They played a lot during the same time.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe
You know what I'm saying?
maybe the years played has something to do with it.
I guess.
But wow.
I mean, but then again, how does Yao Ming get in there?
What about Yao Ming? Give me that.
Like, if we're talking about years played, or are we talking about quality years played? You know?
I'm talking about quality. It's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Right? Like, dude, those are player A. I just gave you both sports. You know, sports.
I'm with you there 100%, man.
So now we're endorsing whoever he can, right?
Basically,
So Zach Thomas and Chris Webber.
you guys number one in our hearts, number one in our minds and our hearts, right there.
Yeah, man. So that's where I'm at with that.
That's
So,
wild. All right, now to throw down the sack bunt real quick, and you'll see what I mean when I say that. The XFL, 1 month after canceling the regular season games, XFL COO Jeffrey Pollack reports that all, not some, but all XFL employees, including players, staff, and everybody else, have been terminated for the remainder of the year. Now, earlier in the day, they believed the XFL will be back in 2021. Later on in the day, they're saying they're probably not going to be able to bounce back from this. They dumped a lot of money into this season for the big comeback. They can't recover. It looks like the XFL, once again, is done forever until somebody else comes up.
At least one quarterback made it, right?
Two. One quarterback. Yeah, it was two quarterbacks that got pulled out of there. They did amazing. I don't know their names. I don't care about them just yet. I'll find out at some
That
point.
one dude went to the Colts, right?
He did, but he's the backup in the
Luckily
Colts.
with them.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, none of them's gonna go and be a starter.
Oh, God, no. One of the other ones, I think he went to the Titans, as a backup as well.
Okay.
So, I know there's two of them that got pulled out, but we'll see. But I just feel bad. Hopefully, they took care of them. They didn't really get into what they did or didn't do as far as the XFL canceling and how they were going to take care of their employees and stuff like that and everything. Man, that's got to be rough, dude. Like you just the pandemic. How do you prepare for that? Let me tell you how we prepare for that. And I know you got something to do real quick, but let me get into this real quick. This is how you prepare for the pandemic when you're a professional sport. Wimbledon has been paying its insurance $2 million a year in insurance premiums for pandemic, quote-unquote, insurance for the last 17 years since the SARS outbreak in 2003. That is $34 million over that amount of time. Right? They decided, you know what? Somebody came in from the insurance company and was like, hey, man, I got a great idea. They're going to have these guys pay us a shit ton of money because this ain't never happening again. You're going to pay us $2 million. Wimbledon said, fuck it. Here's $2 million every year, right? Who's that guy after 10 years, right? They're like, dude, we just dumped $20 million into this thing that we're never going to. Nah, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. 15 years. Hey, man, do you know how much money we just $30 million we just dumped into this thing, right? Guess who's laughing all the way to the bank this year?
The dude that said, let's wait till 20 years.
Let's just wait, right? This year, Wimbledon will receive $141 million payout from the policy that they have from the pandemic insurance. I think that company, realistically, may not be in business anymore after this year.
Did you just do the Dr. Evil right now when you said that too?
$141 million.
Damn. It came up on 107 mil.
Take away the $34 million that they paid in. Yeah, $107 million. Right. Wimbledon just walked out of there on that pandemic insurance because of their for the Wimbledon event. They had that down. Talk about luck of the draw, foresight. What do you want to call it? But
I don't know. It's like the stock market of sports, right?
It is. It really is. You got to play it, and sometimes you're going to win. Sometimes you're just dumping money.
Yep.
Apparently, the people that were talking about, man, we're dumping too much money in this pandemic insurance over the last 17 years are walking in looking dumb the next day in the office when that dude's that's still cutting that check going. You were saying what now?
Yeah, he's like, what? Come again? He's like, time to retire. Guess what?
Guess what? You said what now about my what? No. Get out of here with that madness.
Man, that's crazy.
Right?
Crazy.
When I heard that, I was like, there is no way.
That's the first I heard about that. And let me tell you, that's Yahtzee, right?
Yahtzee! All right. So Wimbledon fucking made out like a bandit. And we are at what we like to call, I don't know what we're going to call it now. I don't know what we like to call it, but we're going to call it now the MLB. We're back to Major League Baseball. What this podcast is all about, I guess? No, not really, but who knows? Who cares? We're talking about baseball. The season could start, and this is what they're saying, the season could start as early as May. The league and the Players Union are discussing sending all 30 teams to Arizona or to play start of the season during this pandemic, or having half the teams go to Arizona and half the teams going to Florida. They're also talking about doing what they like to call a restructuring for this shortened season. Basically, what would happen here, guys, and stay with me here. They would be broken up into two leagues, not the National and the American. It would be the Grapefruit and the Cactus.
Right, I like it.
In the North, in the Grapefruit League, you'd have the Yankees, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, and the Pirates. In the South, I don't know how, but in the South, you got Boston, the Twins, the Braves, the Rays, and the Orioles. In the East, in the Grapefruit League, you'd have the Nationals, the Astros, the Mets, the Cards, and the Marlins. That would be the Grapefruit League. In the Cactus League, in the Northeast, you'd have the Cubs, the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the A's. In the West Coast, in the west part of the league, I guess, you'd have the Dodgers, the White Sox, the Reds, the Indians, and the Angels.
In
the Northwest, you'd have the Brewers.
You like your chances of winning a division there?
No, I do not like my chances there. Northwest, you got the Brewers, the Padres, the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Royals. Honestly, I think the Brewers or the Royals are taking that one hands over fist. They also said they'd have a universal designated hitter. The pitchers would not be pitching or hitting. So I don't know what that would say about Ohtani-san, but I'm sure they'd figure out a way around it. The World Series would be between the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League winner. Obviously, it would be held in Florida, or it would be started in Florida and then go to Arizona. It just depends on what's going on. They're saying because the East Coast bias, they want to go and ahead and have the Super Bowl, the World Series in Florida, not Arizona. I think they should have it in Arizona. And they're talking about you got to have the games earlier because of the East Coast. You know what? The East Coast has had enough bucking bias over the goddamn years. All right, man. It's time for those motherfuckers to either stay up late and watch the goddamn games, or it sucks to be you, fucking nerd. All right? It's all about the West Coast now, baby. Come play in Arizona, motherfuckers. Come play. Tell me, hey, stop me if I'm wrong. Stop me if I'm wrong. Currently, the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game are still scheduled at Dodger Stadium July 13th and 14th, right? What do you think, man? What do you think? I know that in Arizona, I know that they have what they say 18 or 13 potential stadiums between the two sides in Florida and Arizona. They would need a couple more stadiums on each side just to be able to play realistically a home game at each one. I know a couple teams use the same spring training facility in Arizona. There are a couple stadiums that they could use from the local colleges. I don't know, man. What do you think?
I think it's cool, man. Like, you know me, I'm a big like traditionalist and like, hey, keeping things the way they are. But man, you just got me all excited. Like, it's different, you know. Like, and it's fair across the board. Not like it's not fair to anybody, you know. Maybe I guess people in the divisions are like, oh man, the Angels are with the Dodgers and stuff like that. I mean, I'd be curious to see, do they expand the playoffs, you know, like because of the way they mix things up type of thing. But I mean, man, this sounds cool, you know, like it's salvaging the season as best as they can because
mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, you're mixing it up. You're saying like, hey, let's just try something. Like, man, if the season is shot, like, let's just try something. I love it. I love ideas. I love something new and different. And I mean, of course, they got to work out all the details and intricacies. But, dude, having those two leagues and not AL, NL type of thing, like, that'd be cool. And that, honestly, I think in some ways it'll demonstrate a even better test of skill. Because, you know, a lot of these guys are so used to tendencies like, oh, well, because we see the Rangers and we see Seattle, we know who we're going to get, so most of our numbers will come there, and they'll get padded against the weaker teams and blah, blah, blah. And this just really, instead of padding the numbers, it's just like, hey, let's just go play ball, just like when we were in high school and we didn't know everybody once we got to CIF and who they were playing and stuff like that. All we could do was scout them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited.
I do have to say, the CL West, the Cactus League West, is going to be fucking loaded.
Right, they are.
You got the Dodgers, the Reds, the Indians, the White Sox, and the Angels. I mean, it's going to be the toughest fight. I can't catch a goddamn break, bro.
Right,
Where's the Southwest?
Yeah, I get it. But man, dude,
I mean, even that one, even the Grapefruit League. Oh, it'd be fucking amazing. And it would only be for this season because it would be a shortened season. But even the Grapefruit League North, the GLN. And then the Yankees and the Phillies with the freaking Blue Jays and the Tigers and the Pirates right there battling it out. That'd be fucking interesting. Even the South, you got the Red Sox and the Twins with the Braves right there. The fucking Tampa Bay Rays. We were talking about them being the dark horse. My God, dude, it's gonna be the one that scratches my head. Honestly, the Grapefruit League East, the Nationals, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Marlins, and then the Astros. Like, that one makes me scratch my head, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I would have thrown them in the South and maybe thrown the Braves in the East. Is what I would have done, but
then you're going back to like trying to get almost seeming like that's what it's like in the regular season, you know?
Yeah, but they don't have the Red Sox and the Twins there.
I guess. I don't know, dude. But I don't know. Again, it's never going to be perfect. Are you going to ever come up with a solution that
right? But then I mean, I could say like, okay, look, Tampa, like Florida, you got Tampa Bay Devil Rays or the Tampa Bay Rays, and you got the Miami Marlins. Now they're playing in two different leagues. Why is it in the Cactus League West you'd have the Dodgers and Angels playing in the same one? Like, son of a bitch. Let me get the North, the West, and then the Southwest, or some other shit, but whatever. I mean,
flights you could get, right? Southwest, that doesn't
at the end of the day, man, I'd be excited to see this happening. I know it's on the table. They've got a bunch of different things on the table. Obviously, no fans in attendance. Obviously, be closed games. Only be able to watch them from your home or from your mobile devices, wherever you're watching them from. But like you said, man, listening to this, looking at the realignment structure, looking at this whole thing, I'm like, man, this would be pretty awesome. I think even if it's for one season, I think it'd be pretty dope. It'd be pretty dope.
Get something going. I just think it's cool. And I saw that they were talking about like some of the drawbacks on it is, the players being secluded for 4 months from their families and stuff like that. And Norland Arnardo, he's like, I'll sign off on it if we could get to play baseball. But not everybody's family's different situations,
It's very true. Some of the older cats are worried about, what am I gonna do with my family, man? Like I got a family, I got to worry about that, I got to do this and that, and some of the younger guys who don't have a family right now, who are they just want to get out there and play, You know, those guys are like, dude, let's do whatever it is to get it done. And make things happen. Let's play, man. Like shit. Let's get things done and let's do it, man. I don't know. I'm excited. I am exceedingly excited when it comes to things like this, especially the universal DH. It'd be interesting to watch the DH in the National League or the National League teams, who they would assign as their designated hitter. I mean, I for one have been saying this forever, and maybe because I'm an American League team fan, I think the designated hitter should be all the way across the entire league, the entire Major League Baseball, because 90% of the time when a pitcher comes up, it's basically an out. How many times have you been 2 outs, runners on the corners, you got your number 9 or your number 8 hole hitter coming up, and they walk him intentionally because, lo and behold, your pitcher's coming up. Obviously, there have been Madison Bumgarner, for one, that comes to mind. He's definitely, if he gets contact, he's going to hit the ball pretty far. Anybody else off the top of your head? Bartolo Colon having that crazy fucking swing.
Carlos Zambrano was pretty damn good.
Damn right.
Days, you know, he was pretty good. Hampton, was it Garrett Hampton? I think what's his name, from the Rockies, the dude that said like tied the single season record for home runs in a year.
Yeah, I think
play for the Rockies. You know,
so I think these players have the ability to get in there and get some hits, but I think it would be a lot more interesting. Let them get that rest during that inning. Let the hitters go out there and hit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's cool. But, you know, also when you were saying that and you brought Showtime up kind of with that, you know, the DH doesn't have to be for the pitcher, right? That's just the most
absolutely
where most people do, you know, like at the high school level, it's rarely for the pitcher because the pitcher is usually one of the better athletes on the team.
Right.
It's usually for like that stud, you know, good fielding outfielder that's pretty damn good but can't hit worth the lick, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going to start maybe seeing. Well, I mean, I don't know about maybe seeing. I take that back. But like with the Angels, that would be a situation. Like who would – and like let's get into it. Who would you DH if you were put in that position for Showtime? Because obviously we want Showtime to hit. Let's just assume, right? They're like, they're not going by we don't want him getting tired and getting on base, blah, 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 and hitting. But let's just assume that's out the window. We want him to hit. He's his normal self, right?
Yeah.
Who would you switch the DH to in that particular game?
Instead of having Shohei hit?
Right. No. To have him hit and move the DH to be on someone else playing the field.
Oh, okay. Our catcher? our makeshift battery mates down at the bottom. I mean, I would definitely hit for him. I think right now, left, center, and right field we're pretty good. Right field, I know obviously Joe Adell will be coming up. Third base, you're good to go. Second, shortstop, you're good to go. Second base, nice little punky hitter there. First base, you gotta let Albert swing because if he gets contact, he's gonna hit the ball a mile. Thankfully, only over the fence is 0.98 miles, and we're good to go.
Right.
So obvious. I mean, the one position I think, other than pitching, that the Angels have struggled with getting somebody who's a consistent hitter, it would be the catcher. So I think if we are going in there, Ohtani's pitching, and Ohtani's going to hit, and we got to put a DH in there somewhere. I think you DH the catcher. Maybe let Matt Thaiss play first, and Pujols come in as a DH and hit for the catcher. I mean, if that's the possibility, I mean that's one way I'd go about it. I mean. Yeah. In that situation, you want Ohtani's bat in there. You want Pujols' bat in there. You got to have that deep, because one thing that Anaheim and or California or LA or however you want to call the Angels, one thing the Angels have always had is a solid defensive catcher. We've had a solid defensive catcher for a long, long time. It's the offensive side of the ball that the catcher has not been stellar in a very long. Not since Napoli, I think would be the last one. Iannetta was close. He was not consistent, but Iannetta was there. He did have his moments. We had a catch.
Maldonado?
I was about to get to him. I was about to say we had Maldonado and we fucking shipped him off to Houston, and I had a glimmer of hope at the end of last season. Maldonado changed his Twitter and Instagram photos from the Houston Astros uniform to his Angels uniform when they were going after Garrett Cole. Mm-hmm. So I think that I was hoping we'd get Cole and him, and it would be amazing because then you'd have the battery mates coming back for another round over here at Angel Stadium. But obviously things happened, and the Yankees got him. And go fuck yourself, Evan. But it is what it is. You know, we haven't had a substantial offensive, person behind the plate. So I think if I had to put somebody there, it would be I would DH the catcher.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
What about for you? If you had anyone else other than the pitcher, if you looked at your lineup right now and you had to throw a DH in there and it wasn't for the pitcher, who would you throw it in there for?
Weakest spot, huh? Oh, jeez, have you seen our lineup though?
Okay, stop fucking stroking yourself off and patting yourself in the back.
I mean,
I understand.
Home run hitters,
bro.
Everywhere.
Bro, why do you think I'm saying it's not fair that we have to play in the same fucking?
I mean, Corey Seager is probably the one dude that don't have 20 home runs. He had 80-something RBIs last year. Like, a lot of people don't realize he didn't hit the 20 home run plateau, but he was like at 82 RBIs. Like,
and that's solid.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know, call me crazy, right? But I would do something like put Max Muncy to DH and like Kike and Chris Taylor to flip flop between like second and short. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and I don't know, depending on who's hot or who the pitcher we're facing, put Muncy to hit for whichever one of those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
Like Kike is known. He doesn't like being known for it, but he clobbers left-handed pitching. So if it was like a right-handed pitcher, I would rather have Kike like playing second base and Max Muncy DHing for Kike. Does that make sense?
It does.
Now if it was a lefty, on the mound, and again, I'm just throwing something out there, right? I'd be like, okay, well, we're gonna DH for Chris Taylor today, and have Chris Taylor in left field and Kike hit, and play him second base and DH for Chris Taylor with Muncy, because Muncy not bad defensively, but like they're just better. You know what I'm saying? Those dudes are just athletic players that could get the ball so much better.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're getting creative with it, that's probably what I would do. Something like that.
I mean, it'd be interesting, nonetheless, to be able to see everything kind of go down. Man, it's gonna be one hell of a season once it starts. I mean, I will be slightly under impressed if the season kicks off and nothing's changed. It's just the same shit,
right?
Like all these quick little like dudes like this like are coming up for a shortened season. Like, why not try? Why not try and give it the old heave-ho and let's see what happens. A shortened season, I think everybody would be up for the randomness that would be something like that.
Right. I totally agree. I don't know. Good stuff. It'd be very interesting.
For once, Artie agrees with me when it comes to baseball.
I agree. That's good stuff. I mean, great stuff.
If the game started May 15th, which is the number that have been thrown around, it would leave about 114, 115 games to be played for the rest of the season. Making the Universal DH would be awesome. The Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game, the All-Star Week, I think would still be at Dodger Stadium. I think it wouldn't be a week, though. I think it'd only be maybe a day or two before, a day or two after, and call it a All-Star break.
Yeah. I don't see it happening. I don't know. The further it gets, the less I think the All-Star Game is going to happen this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just hope that,
opinion.
and I know that they have it set for next year already where it's going to be, and we talked about this last week, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. But I hope that wherever it is, I mean, if they're going to jip the Dodgers out of this year, I think 2 years from now, going back to LA, I think would be the biggest thing. I think would be the best thing for it to happen. I mean, I would love to be there. I think we should do everything we can to get to the All-Star game and have our reactions and whatnot there. If we can be there, both of us, I would think that would be pretty freaking amazing. So,
yeah, I can see it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I definitely think that if the Dodgers don't host, we'll give it back to them. Obviously not next year, but the year after. For sure. Totally agree.
Today also, speaking of MLB, I know you were playing earlier, MLB The Show 20, that is, guys. Not a sponsor, but hey, why not? The 30 teams have selected each one player from each team to play in a MLB The Show Players League showdown. All the participants are coming one for each team, winning a 4-player tournament over 2 weeks. AL East, we got Bo Bichette for the Blue Jays, Dwight Smith Jr. for the Orioles, Blake Snell for the Rays, Eduardo Rodriguez for the Red Sox, Tommy Hanel, whatever, for the Yankees. Nobody cares. It's the Yankees. The Central has Santana for the Indians, Brett Phillips for the Royals, Nico Goodrum for the Tigers, Trevor May for the Twins, Lucas Guillermo for the White Sox. AL West, Ty Buttrey, T.Y. Buttrey for the Angels, Lance McCullers for the Astros, Jesus Luzardo for the A's, Carl Edwards Jr. for the Mariners, Joey Gallo for the Rangers. The NL East has Luke Jackson for the Braves, Renee Stenik for the Marlins, Jeff McNeil for the Mets, Juan Soto for the Nationals, Rice Hoskins, I believe, for the Phillies. NL Central has Josh Hader for the Brewers, Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals, Ian Happ, it's happening right here, for the Cubs, Cole Tucker for the Pirates, Amir Garrett for the Reds, and in the NL West, John Duplantier for the D-backs, Gavin Lux for the Dodgers, Hunter Pence for the Giants, Fernando Tatis Jr. For the Padres, and David Dahl for the Rockies. It'd be pretty interesting to see what's going on. The first round of games happened today. I don't have kind of a layout of who won and what's going on right now, but it'd be really interesting. Who do you got, man? Without knowing anything else other than what's going on.
Well, you just read off a lot of names, and I zoned out halfway through it. Because I didn't recognize a lot of them. I mean, but here's my theory. I think the younger guys are the ones that are going to have the advantage. You know, I would put my money on someone like Gavin Lux or Fernando Tatis, someone that's just really young, you know, like early 20s, because those are the dudes that most likely play those games compared to the other guys. I also think that it's got to be dudes that came up with families that had the kind of money to be able to play that stuff. You know, Tatis, again, you know, whose dad played in pros and stuff like that. I'm sure he was not hurting for money growing up. Does that make sense? And I've seen some of his posts. That dude, like, he likes to pick himself and stuff like that. He dropped some bombs on there, you know?
Yeah, I got you. Tell you, I did find the standings. While you were talking, I did find the standings. All right, coming out of the AL East right now, Tampa Bay's Blake Snell is winning the AL East 2-2 right now. Dwight Smith Jr., Tommy Hanel, and Bo Bichette have not played, but Eduardo Rodriguez for the Boston Red Sox has played. He's 0-4 right now.
Sounds about right.
He's dropped 4 games so far through Friday. The AL Central right now, not very impressive, but the Twins' Trevor May is 1-3. Everybody else has not played a game today, so the Carlos Santana, Lucas Giolito, Nico Goodrum, and Brett Phillips have not played yet. And the AL West right now, Joey Gallo coming out top of the league right now, 4-0.
Wow. Okay.
For the Texans, Lance McCullers Jr. coming in second at 2-2. He's tied with Blake Snell for the second place in the league. And then we're getting into the NL side of the park as far as these players at play. Nobody in the NL East or the NL West at the moment has played any games at the end of today. However, the NL Central for the Reds, Amir Garrett is holding at a 3-1 record. So, I mean, obviously, not everybody's gotten a chance to play. Tomorrow, Saturday, they're going to have some, or as you're listening to it right now, probably today, Saturday. A lot of these players are going to be going in. We're going to keep track of what's going on with these players and what they're doing and how they're playing. And I know I'll be listening and watching for T.Y. Buttrey. I'm sure artisanal chocolate over there, my little RD chocolate, will be paying attention.
I've never heard of T.Y. Booty or whatever his name was.
Buttrey? He's a pitcher. You don't need to hear about him. He's quiet. He's good. Yeah, I've never heard of Gavin Lux. Who the hell is Gavin Lux? Nobody gives a crap about Gavin Lux. Come on, dude.
Probably the front runner to win the NL Rookie of the Year.
But realistically now, he looks like
I think he has more
Jesse. He looks like
anybody on the Angels combined.
He looks like Jesse Pinkman from fucking Breaking Bad.
He has a big old head. Like
he does, bro.
Head.
Gavin Lux.
He looks like a dude that needs to grow out his hair or something, right?
Hey, Gavin Lux, bro. Look, if you're hearing this, we're not talking shit, but we're talking shit, okay? I just want you to understand what's happening right now.
Just kidding facts.
We're just letting you know what your picture looks like. Fix it, and we'll go from there. But if you guys at home,
last name ain't Butt.
Yeah, right. If you guys want to watch, you guys check out the MLB social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and the MLB's Twitch sites, MLB The Show on social media on Twitter. If you want to watch some of the games, they're over there talking shit, taking names, and being us. They're not being superstar players. They're just being us when we play video games and we have a good time, and that's how they're spending their time getting through. And it's really great to actually watch. I got to catch glimpses of it, and it's pretty awesome to watch them play and react.
Smacking. I'm looking at his stats. Gallo is smacking. Like, he's got 3 shutouts, and then his other run was to Snell, who's like one of the top guys, and Snell only got 2 runs on him, but Gallo scored 11.
Dude, we got nothing on him right now.
Wow.
All right.
That's impressive.
Final thing of the night. I'll let you go to bed. I got to do some editing and then put this out so people can listen. Question of the day at the beginning of the session, way back like 4 hours ago. Question of the day: the best athlete that isn't in a respective Hall of Fame. After listening to what we said about the goddamn NBA Hall of Fame, this list is long. Not including MLB players dealing with PEDs. I said Pete Rose and Bo Jackson. Do you have another player in mind that you think should be in the NFL or the NFL should be in the Hall of Fame, but is currently not?
For baseball?
For anything?
Because we already ran mine too. I already knew Zach Thomas. I didn't know about Chris Webber. I'll tell you that. But I knew. So to me, the dude I would advocate for sure is Zach Thomas. Chris Webber is the guy that I would advocate for now as well too, knowing what I know, and that's just from like our little session here.
Right.
Major League Baseball, I don't know. I'd have to. Did Jeff Bagwell end up getting in or not?
That one, I don't think so yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think he'd probably be the next dude. He played the game right, and he was. Yeah, man, Jeff Bagwell is probably the dude that I'd probably have up there on the short list. Why don't you talk about your guy? Meanwhile, you can give me a chance to look for baseball because I already got my football and basketball ones.
I mean, Pete Rose for sure. I mean, I think at this point, what we've gone through, what we've lived through, at this point, I think it's time to let Pete in. Unfortunately, like I think we discussed in the very first episode of the Blow and Save podcast, I think they're not going to let Pete Rose in until after he passes away because they don't want to see him on the pedestal. Next to that, a man whose prime of his career was cut short. He still went on to play baseball for a long time, Mr. Bo Jackson. He was just a beast. When you watched him play, how he played, the intensity with which he played, I think that barring that hip injury, playing football If Bo Jackson did not go and play football, I think he'd be in the MLB Hall of Fame right now. Mm-hmm. Realistically, would he have been in the NFL Hall of Fame had he not gotten hurt, injured that way? I think being the NFL, it is what it is. An injury was bound to happen at some point, the way he played. But I think he had a better shot of making the MLB Hall of Fame if he didn't play football. Because even when he came back, he was still really good. He wasn't amazing like he was. He wasn't a superstar, but he was still really good. He actually played for the Angels for a little bit, too, for about a year and a half. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay. So I'll jump in right here.
Do it.
I think he had a better shot if he had stayed healthy to be in the Hall of Fame for football, not baseball.
Really?
I don't think he's a dude that would have had the longevity to make it into a stringent baseball Hall of Fame. I also think you have a little angel bias going in there. But I love Bo Jackson. At his peak, he was amazing.
I think
realistically, the dude never hit 300. You know, he drove in 100 runs. I was about to check his stats right now. What, once, maybe twice? You know, at his peak, he did already hit 30 home runs. He wasn't going to be hitting that many a whole bunch of times, but I'll have to check his stats right now. Let's see here. He struck out a boatload of times. So he had one season, where he hit 30 home runs and 100 RBIs. One time. So a whole bunch of 20 home run seasons is not going to get you into the Hall of Fame.
Like I said, had he not gotten hurt, had he been in the top peak condition, I think that he could.
What do you think was his highest batting average in a season?
270.
270. You're right. 272.
Damn, and that was a heartfelt guess there. All right.
And his top on base percentage.
How many years did he play ball though before he got hurt?
That's what I'm saying. Like the years
before
he actually played, they weren't even amazing.
Before he got hurt.
Before
he got hurt.
1, 2. Well, you count that rookie year. Kind of doesn't count. You know how they always throw it out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I guess.
Four. Let's call it 4. Let's call it 4 seasons. How many players, right, come out immediately in that first couple years? He was gaining traction.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Hall
think
of Famers are from year. Dude, how many Hall of Famers are like, hey, after year number 5, that dude became a Hall of Famer?
Hey, you know what? Look at that NBA list. We got about 200 people on that list.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying.
All right, my big guy, the one I'm hanging my hat on is Pete Rose. Okay.
Okay, I can see that one. All right, but that's obvious. Like he's a Hall of Famer. He better on his team to win. You know, what about Shoeless Joe Jackson? You know, like,
at this point, guys, come on. Yeah.
Like, poor guy, you know, he's rolling over his grave every year. You know, like, what the hell? You know, like, it's not his fault. They made a whole movie about it. That dude wasn't in on the fix. That dude hit, like, almost 400 in that World Series, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and the rest of his career, we're not talking just a game or two. His career is Hall of Fame worthy career.
Absolutely.
So what if like his team cheated or threw a World Series? I get it, but that dude still, even that his team threw it, that dude still had an awesome World Series.
He was still raking. He was still raking.
And again, the Hall of Fame is an individual theme. Individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that dude.
I know what you're saying.
If we got to put one dude at the very top of the list,
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, Shoeless Joe and Pete for sure,
Pete right there.
But we're talking like other dudes that are like, oh, okay, they're just outside of the obvious, besides the PEDs and some kind of ban or whatever.
Yeah,
I like Jeff Bagwell. I like Jeff Bagwell.
Baggy always.
The bagpipes was pretty good. He was a solid player, played the game right. Had his 3,000 hits. I like him. I like the Jeff Kent as well too. That's a dude I really liked. He was at his peak for a very long time in a prime position that wasn't easy to play. Second base, and and Jeff Bagwell led the league and had some numbers for like a long time, bro. You want to talk about Hall of Fame numbers? Look, right, like this dude had 100 RBIs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and missed 100 by 1, 2, like by 4 RBIs and 2 RBIs 2 other times. Another one by like 10 plus 5 more times. Dude, yeah, 1,500 RBIs for the year. You know, this dude hit 297 for his career with a high of 368 one time, an on-base percentage of 400 for his career. Like, this dude was, I believe he was a 2020 guy. He was a 30-30 guy twice, 2021s. I mean, he had, you know, like, geez, runs. He led the league in runs scored 3 times. I mean, he led the league in walks 1 time. He's pretty impressive. Yeah, he was an all-star quite a few times. Like that's and he had a career in 5 years, and he did it all with one team, Houston. That's something that a lot of players, you know, don't do anymore. They just jump ship first chance they get. He did it all with Houston. That's impressive, bro. Plus, he had, you know, what he had 2,300. Probably because he's missing the 2,500 hits plateau, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like him. Vizquel's another dude that comes into mind too. Like, you know, you can't be all just hitting. You know, like baseball is. There's 2 ends to the spectrum. You know, it's fielding and hitting. He's another dude that I get it pretty close. But if you compare, like, you know, the player A, player B type of thing, and we put him and Ozzie Smith next to each other, like, man, their numbers are pretty damn similar. You know, pretty similar. So those are probably 2 guys I'd be like, all right, they're not for sure guys like, hey, what the hell's going on? But they're guys that, like, man, I'd like to see be in there, you know, like they're deserving.
I know one guy it just popped in my mind is Jimmy Edmonds. Speaking of defensively, just being there.
Homer bias.
Dude, he played probably his best years with the Cardinals.
Maybe. Okay, I'll look.
He's even in the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame, bro. He's not in the Angels Hall of Fame. He's in the Cardinals Hall of Fame. Okay.
Was he with the Angels when they won the World Series? No, right?
He was there after the fact.
Yeah. Was he after?
He was after the fact. No, you know what? No. No, you're right. It was before they won it. They sent him out.
Yeah,
right. It was like 2 years later we won the.
I heard nothing but bad things of he was such a bad influence on Troy Glaus.
Maybe, but if you look at what it is, and he's off the ballot now. He can't be. He won't.
I like that guy. Don't think I don't. I really like that guy.
No, I'm with you there, dude. But it's just, to me, I think Edmonds was a great player. He had a 41 WAR from 2000 to 2005. Only 26 hitters had a better fucking WAR in that span of time, right? And the list includes like Willie Mays, Robinson, Pujols, Schmidt, Brett, Morgan, Mantle, Bond, like really fucking elite athletes, right? It's just one of those things. He, what did he end up with? I want to say.
So, I'm looking at his stats right now, and you're right. He did have his best years with St. Louis. I really like the guy. I remember he was just like, he was a very, like, even as good of a defender he was, I think he was really underrated defensively. Like, I still think he was really, I think he doesn't get enough notoriety for the defensive play he got. Yeah. He wasn't a dude that was like super fast, you know, like I'm seeing right here stolen bases, you know, like he had a career high of like 10 steals, yet he covered ground like crazy because he got such good reads, you know?
Yeah.
Like he was solid, man. Underrated. Definitely one of the more underrated players. Hall of Fame. I mean, he just doesn't have the stats, I guess.
He's got more than 400 home runs. He's got more than 2,000.
He's got 393.
Is it 393?
He doesn't have 2,000 hits. He has 1,949.
Oh, you're right. I'm looking at the thing right here. Yeah.
So I think he's missing some of those benchmarks that, you know, that you really.
I mean, but he got cut down because of injury, bro.
But that's the story of everybody's life. You know? I got cut down because of injury too. You know. Yeah, that's the story of everybody's life, you know. Like, again, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
like, I'm with you. I loved watching that guy play. Loved it.
So yeah,
you know, like his style of the way he wore his glove, with just the wristband, no batting glove in there. Like, dude, I used to play defense like that because of him, because he did it like that. Like, I know he was an outfielder and I was an infielder. I'm right-handed. He's left-handed. but I really liked his game, and I liked that style, and that's how I play defense because of him. Like that's where I wore my.
And you're talking about his defense and how he could cover a field. I mean, anytime they talk about the greatest catches in MLB history, he is top 5. Top five, top three, maybe. But I'm giving top 5. You know what I mean? Things have happened. A couple of things have gone down, but I think top 5 for sure, no matter what, till the end of time. I think.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't see that one being top too much.
I mean, he's 7 homers shy of 400. You're right, 51 away from 2,000, and it was only because he got hurt. He tried to come back, he couldn't do it. It is what it is, and it's just one of those things. Only one other person in the expansion era who has had fewer plate appearances than him was Kirby Puckett.
That's also not a good thing too, though. You're telling me he didn't hit those plateaus?
I mean, it is what it is.
Sense?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay. I'd like to see how many Gold Gloves he won. You know how many he got in here?
That one I don't know. I was looking up the thing here. Yeah, I'm doing it.
He is 2016 All-Star. Only 4 All-Star games. 8 Gold Gloves. Okay, that's where I expect him to be. 8 Gold Gloves.
And you're talking about how he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that speed, man. But damn, he still covered a whole lot of ground out there.
And again, just playing devil's advocate here, right? Like the dude never led the league in any category, like offensively, not one time in one category. He had a solid career though, don't get me wrong. Like 100 RBIs looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, which is again not Jeff Bagwell status, you know. But I don't know, man. Yeah, I just don't know.
I think he's on the cusp. I think he got overlooked, but you know, I'm not the guy.
Underrated.
Yeah,
I'd want him on my team.
All day, twice on Sunday. I actually had him on my team for a little bit, but it is what it is. Did you know?
Solid on base percentages too. Look, 370.
Oh yeah. Did you know also he's a SoCal native of Diamond Bar High School?
I did know that. Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I thought I had one on you.
He's not associated with them though. He's never like really claimed them or came back and gave
I think he had an issue with the Diamond Bar school district, whatever it is. Yeah. I think he had an issue with them, but still, he's a SoCal native, and
he's a local boy.
Yeah,
and they never really talk because I would hear more about Garrett Anderson with like Kennedy High School, you know, like his association with it and that type of thing. But yeah, Jim Edmonds out of Diamond Bar, he'd be like, next question, you know,
right on. But I think that of the Pete Rose obvious. I think Jackson, if he stayed healthy, Shoeless Joe on top of the list. I think coming in at a close 4th. I think, and this is where he's been his entire career. And I love you, Jimmy, but I like Jim Edmonds on that one.
I like it. I'll take for an outside guy. I'd take Jeff Bagwell. He's probably my guy.
Right on.
Sure, I like him.
All right, Mr. Casas, that's it for the night, man. Anything last to say before we end the 7th episode?
No. What is that thing called? I lost it, but it's basically make sure we stay in April so we can have like our little May rise, right?
Damn right, yeah.
What's going on right now?
Absolutely.
In April, so we can have our May rise, and hopefully everybody stays safe out there and just do your thing, you know. Because look at New York. New York was named, or they single-handedly have more cases than any other country outside of the U.S. They have more cases them by themselves than any other country.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, you know, crazy. So just stay indoors, do your thing, be safe, keep your family safe, and stay healthy, you know, because, I mean, for the first time I had, you know, a family member that actually caught it and has survived, but I had a friend that lost his brother. He lost his brother to the coronavirus, and it's scary and it's real. Yeah.
Just be safe, guys, out there. If you guys are listening in right here, we do appreciate you listening to the Blown Save podcast. If you guys will have any other questions or comments or anything like that, anything you want us to add to the next show, please email us at TheBlownSavePodcast@gmail.com. It will be in the description down below. We got some merch maybe coming out soon enough, but we appreciate you guys coming down, tuning in, hanging out with us. Remember, there is that 3-drink minimum. Make sure you have a designated driver if you're going anywhere. But you shouldn't be going anywhere because right now, like I already said, we should all be hunkering down at home unless you're essential, like some of us. Make sure you guys stay at home as much as you can. Only go out if you absolutely have to. We love you guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
All right.